Have you ever felt like the world looks right through you, like you're invisible? I've felt this way. I felt this way for quite a while, and I'm kind of used to it, and I'm okay with it since I'm an introvert, and I don't really want to be noticed, and it's fine with me. At first, it's kind of shocking because, you're still a person, but when you get older and look older, wrinkles, the gray hair, the whole looking older thing happens to everybody, and I'm okay with it. I should probably do more to not look older or as old as I am, but I don't care. It's natural. For me, I've never been one to wear makeup, color my hair. I did it a long time ago, and it was such a pain in the neck. I just decided I'm not doing that. And I think it's healthier, personally, to just accept that we all age. There are things we can do, to make ourselves look presentable, whatever, but being invisible is a thing. Society, including media and just how our culture is, especially here in the US, I think, prioritizes youth. That means that older people, like me and maybe you, are often overlooked because of our physical appearance. The gray hair, the lines, the wrinkles, things that happen when we age. And I think it's natural. I do not think we should have so much emphasis on looking younger than we are. Or, and some people naturally look younger. Others, like myself, I started getting gray in my 30s. And by my 40s, and certainly my 50s, I had pretty much hair just like this. And everybody tells me, oh, I wish my hair was silver and pretty like yours. Well, it is nice, but it's still gray hair. And I have gotten lots of reactions, let's say, from having gray hair for a couple decades now. And at first it bothered me, but I figured, no, it's fine. It's my hair. It is what it is. I am not going to stress out about it. I dyed it a little while, off and on, and I hated doing it because I had a skunk line growing here, at the part within about 2 or 3 weeks. And I hate the way that looks. I think it's so awful looking. I would rather have gray hair than that, dark brown, which is what my hair color used to be, with this shiny white streak. It's like, nope, not gonna happen. So I stopped. But there are some things that some older women and men do, which I think are great. They are obviously old or older, but they might wear a funky, fun haircut. Or they might wear big, striking statement glasses, like that are red frames or black and white striped frames or whatever. And I know, this is how I perceive it, I guess. I think they are wanting to say, look at me. I'm not invisible. Look at these glasses. Look at my face. I'm okay with who I am. And I think that is great. They might wear big jewelry, a big statement necklace or something to draw attention. And I think they're saying, I am not invisible. I'm here, and I'm going to show you that I am. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been invisible now for several decades, off and on, depending on the situation. Like at a store, maybe the deli counter, at the grocery store, I've often been literally overlooked because I'm short also, which does not help. That makes you more invisible because, other people are up here and here you are down here. At first, it really made me mad. It's like, I'm right here. Can't you see me? Is what I'm thinking in my head. And then as the years have gone on, I just kind of take it in stride, but I do stand up for myself. I will raise a finger and point to the sky No, not that finger. This one. I'll say, hello, I'm here. You know, I do speak up for myself. And I try to be polite about it. And most people who are there, you know, waiting in line also will say, yeah, go ahead. You know, point to me and tell the person, yes, she was here first or whatever. Some don't. And I just figure, okay, they're more important than me. No, they're not. But that's okay. If they are in that bigger rush, sure, go ahead. I think when we feel invisible, it's a big adjustment at first, especially because you want to be seen. You're still a person. When we're older, we're still people. We still have feelings. We want to be seen and heard. And I think working through this in our minds is important, because if it just makes you mad every time, that's not good for our mental health, you know, to do that. And that's what I did at first. It was like, come on, I'm right here. And I would get belligerent and defensive and probably said things I shouldn't have said. And then I realized they don't know me. They don't, you know, they don't even see me. So bully on them. And the younger the person is, like a clerk or somebody working, the older I look, I think. And it's understandable. Oh, there's that old lady, you know. But coming to grips with our aging, you know, that it's happening every day. Every person's getting older. It's just a fact. And I don't fight it. I know my worth. I don't think I'm special, but I am important. You know, I'm not special. I'm not more special than you are. Probably you're not more special than me, but you might be. It's possible, very possible. But talking about it with either a therapist or a friend, just venting a little, or maybe writing, do some journaling and put your feelings down. Talk to yourself. Go talk to the bathroom mirror. Get it off your chest, because sometimes talking it out or writing it down helps us process what is going on better than just thinking about it, just being in our head the whole time. Have you seen the movie Friends with Money? In there is a very good example of women, a woman in particular, becoming invisible. She is played by Frances McDormand, who is wonderful and does a great job. There's a scene where she's in a store and the clerk calls this other person up before her, and she's right there. She is next in line. And it's excellent. It's an excellent look at the reality that people getting older face. And she isn't even that old in the movie, maybe 50 something. I mean, I don't think that's that old, not anymore. So if you haven't seen that movie, check it out, just for a little glimpse of, you know, a portrayal that was done very well of someone feeling invisible. One other way to combat feeling invisible over 60, I think, is to stay involved somehow, either with family or friends, maybe volunteer, get out in the community, join a club, do something that makes you feel like you belong. Because a lot of this feeling invisible stuff is possibly due to isolation. You know, if you don't leave the house very often or something, when you do, and then you're ignored or made to feel invisible, it can hurt. It can really hurt our self-esteem. And, you know, you want to go out, have a good experience out in the world, but relying too much on people we don't know, like, you know, a clerk at the store or at the post office or whatever, is probably not the best option. You know, if you have a group of friends or a community somehow that you're involved with, you'll feel less invisible. You know, you'll have a purpose. which I think is a really good thing. Lastly, I'd say kind of just roll with it. Being invisible isn't all bad. When I was in my 40s and 50s, but mostly in my late 50s, I started getting asked if I was a senior. And I took this to mean somebody over 60 or 62, 65, and I just said yes. What the heck? Because I got senior discounts. And I thought, if you're rude enough to ask, I'm going to be bold enough to say yes, I am, and take the discount. I don't know. Would you do that? I just did because I thought, because at first it bothered me. And then I decided, I'll take the discount. What the heck? If they're going to ask, I'm going to say yes. So I did. Well, it's fine. Maybe they weren't being rude. Maybe they really thought I was over 60 or 70 or whatever. But once I got over the fact that, you know, this young person thinks me, this old lady, is old, that's how they perceive me. You know, that's not their fault. I looked that old to them. So I figured I don't want to, you know, burst their bubble. I'll just take the discount. So I'd like to introduce myself in case you're new here. I'm Do It Myself Peg, and this is my YouTube channel on frugal living, being old, and those kind of things. And I'd love it if you enjoyed this video to give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of my videos. And I appreciate everybody who comes around and watches me. It's kind of shocking to me, so thank you. Feeling invisible doesn't define who we are. I mean, it is a feeling that we have, and sometimes you're justified in feeling that way. But we don't have to react necessarily so that it's a negative thing. It just is what it is. And how we react to situations is kind of the important part, I think. Like I said, I got mad a lot at first, you know, when people thought I was old and I wasn't necessarily that old. But then I just realized I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to dye my hair. I'm not going to use face cream that, you know, eliminates all these wrinkles. And I didn't have as many then, but I had enough, obviously, because they thought I was pretty old. And invisible, because seriously, I was just not seen. And it hurts. It hurts your feelings. But I got over it because I'm not the only one. I've seen it happen to other people out in the world. And I feel bad for them when I see it. And I will speak up. I'll say, she was here. You can help her first. Because I don't think people pay attention, you know, who are working in stores or whatever sometimes. It's frustrating. So speak up for yourself and for others if you see it happening. So just to let you know, even though I can't see you, I see you. And I'll see you next time.